Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome back to the shop. I've started to work on the 37 Ford, and the first order of business is the electrical system. I need to upgrade it and make it more safe, and I'm going to show you during some of the video things that are kind of quirky. The one thing I've noticed is there are no fuses in the system, and there might be, but I just haven't found them. But right now it kind of makes me nervous. And there's a couple other spots that make me a little bit nervous too, you'll see in the system. Anyways, the goal here is to upgrade the electrical system, make it modern, and put in relays wherever there's switches and fuses on all circuits that need to be fused. The outcome of this project will be a modernized system and an electrical schematic that I'll be able to reference in the future. And I will share that schematic with everyone online. So if you wanted to do something similar, you could follow along. So I hope you enjoy this project. And if anybody has any requests or needs that they want to see something, don't hesitate to ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer the question or address what you're pointing out. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy it. Here's the underdash view, and this is probably the reason why I want to do the rewiring in the first place. There's a lot of prior work that's happened here, and I'm a little uncomfortable with having 12-volt wires sitting on top of carpeting. So this is going to be all completely redone and laid out and done so that I am not concerned about the safety of the system. Okay, now in the engine compartment, for you that are familiar with a 37 Ford, the battery used to sit here. There actually was an indentation for the battery to go into that space. At some point in time, the car was modified to include a heater. This car was actually from New York, and the heater was probably a good addition. So they put a heater in, and they modified the firewall. This is where the battery used to sit. Now, if you look down here, this is where the battery was underneath these lines, and you can see it was grounded to the engine block. That Group 24 battery does not fit in that space. So that's the reason why it's in the trunk. You can see that there is a combination of wires here. A lot of these are still fabric covered, so that's original style wiring. I don't know if it's the original wiring, but it's original style. And there's been some connections made all the way up here. There's no horns. There's stuff that's just capped off. Again, I'm going to go through each one of these and figure out what they are and rewire this side. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, this is a GM10 SI alternator. That's the support for the 12-volt conversion. Now I'm going to go over to the other side of the car and show you what that looks like. So there's the starter solenoid and the ignition, as well as the power going in. I think I got that right. And that's where all the that's where all the positive connections go right there. Down the side here, there's not much other than the spark plug wires. So there's a little bit of room over here. In the original car, or the original configuration of the car, there was basically a fuse block or a bus bar for all the connections, and they sat in this general vicinity. So that's where I think I'm going to put this, and there's some really nice holes that have already been made for pass-throughs. So that's probably a convenient place to put a modern fuse relay type of system. So that's what I'm thinking, is everything that's on a switch is going to be in a relay or on a relay, and everything that needs to be fused will also be fused. And that's a good space for it. When I got this car, it was already converted over to a 12-volt system, and when I tried to start it up, the old battery was dead. And this was a Group 51 battery, so a lot smaller than this one. I chose to go with a larger battery, larger capacity, for potential future expansions of the system. So this is a Group 24. It's a marine battery, and it's at 1,000 cranking amps or 800 cold cranking amps, which won't be a problem here in Florida. And what I've ended up doing is I've got a battery tray that I've mounted. I've put in, I drilled 2 7/8" holes, actually 3 because measure twice, cut once. So I put those in, and I used a 1-inch grommet, and that actually does really nicely because it really hugs the 1/0 cable here. I've got a 5-foot 1/0 ground cable that's grounded to the frame, and I've got a 15-foot 1/0 positive cable that goes along the frame rails up to the starter solenoid. Again, as I said, this when I tested it out, it turned the car right over, no issues at all. So this is the beginning of the transformation of the electrical system. Okay, here's the underview of the ground cable from the battery. As you can see, it's going through the floor with a 1-inch grommet, and it's grounded against the frame. Let me see if I can focus on that. I'm missing a tooth washer. I'll have to take that off and put one in, but at this point it's working okay. But it won't be reliable if I don't put the tooth washer in. For the positive ground, I dropped it down along the support in the back. I want to keep it away from the exhaust as much as possible. So what I ended up doing, instead of running it down this frame rail, which is the way the exhaust is going, I've chosen to go across the back of the car. And you can see there's other wiring that's already here. So I'm actually running it along that path and then through until it gets up to the front. As you can, and I haven't put any of this stuff in permanently yet. I want to make sure everything's okay before locking it in. I may shorten it up as well. As you can also see, there's a bit of rust down here. Again, as I said, it's a New York car. I'm going to go through and needle scale and brush as much of this stuff off, and then put some rust conversion coating on it. So at this point, I don't want to connect this yet.